big hello and a very warm welcome to a special episode of Brand Equity with me, Sonali Krishna. This week we're discussing something truly radical. We're talking about the first ever seasonal fiction show on Indian television. It also happens to be the most expensive and the lead is being played by a Bollywood actor. That's correct, I'm talking about the series called 24, which will air on Colors in October. This series, if a hit, may actually change the way Indian television works and may change from it being a daily saga of sorts to seasonal shows as it is today in the West. And who better to take this discussion forward than three very important gentlemen: the producer of 24, Anil Kapoor, the director, Abhinay Deo, and the CEO of Colors, Raj Nayak. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us on Brand Equity. Truly a pleasure. So first things first, Anil, many congratulations on this very bold step for Indian television. This is the first time we've ever heard of something which is being put across in such large scale, a large budget. If I could ask you to flash back in time and tell me how you got the idea in the first place to look at 24 as a project that you could, bring down to India, customized for the Indian audience.
I just finished Slumdog Millionaire.
Sure.
And I'd gone to LA for the marketing of the film, and that's the time I happened to meet the Fox people, and they immediately wanted me for 24. The idea came up, and I said, of course, I would love to do it. I said it, then I was nervous, and I started shooting, and I said, this is better than the film. The way they're shooting it, the content is better. The way I've just finished an international film. This is bigger than that international film. I just love the whole working system, and of course, the most important thing was the storytelling, which I felt. I said, this has to be done in India. I must do this, and that's the time I took a decision. And I didn't speak to them, but it was there that I'm going to speak to them once I get a chance. I said, let me start working and get into their good books and show my professionalism, how good I am, and all that kind of thing. And after a few months, then I spoke to Howard Gordon, and who was the showrunner for 24, and I said, I would love to do it. Can I do this in India? I said, let's talk about when it's done, when it's over, and we'll talk about it, not now. And then once the show was over, I spoke to him, and I said, can I take this to India? I said, only one condition: you have to play Jack Bauer. So he just picked up the phone and started speaking to all the stakeholders of 24 one by one, and they all have become billionaires. And for them, it's not about money. It's about and they said, this is Mr. Anil Kapoor, and he's done this 8th season. They had seen my work, of course, and he wants to take it to India. And they said, we'll go and see the Taj Mahal. Seriously, And,
so that was the incentive.
So he was speaking to all of them, and I was listening to the conversation. I said, we'll go there, and he's giving us free tickets, and we go there, and we go to Goa, and we go and see Taj. So what do you think? I said, let's give this to Anil, that kind of stuff. So I said, of course, sir, 2 tickets, sir.
So what did you back the rights for?
See, that came much later. Then I met the Marion Edwards, who's international television head of 20th Century Fox, and that's the time the thing started, and I came to India, and whatever they said, I said, this will be the price, and I never really negotiated. When I want to do something,
you're not going to give me the price.
No, it's not that. It's it's a very complicated kind of a deal, so I cannot really tell you what exactly the deal is, and I can't put a number to it. Okay. But you can say they are my partners.
Yeah, so obviously they'll do some kind of revenue split.
It is. They are my partners,
and
whatever they are, standing by me as if it is their show.
And this is also the first time it would be going outside the United States.
The first time, yes, the first time. They've never.
So it's an experiment of sorts.
In a way, yes.
Yeah, right. So Abhinay, considering this is an Indian adaptation, did you have any, constraints or a framework that you had to work within? To ensure that you're not really straying away from the original format?
No, I mean, yes and no on one level, which is, but I must say that whatever the constraints, so to say, are actually the constraints I would have actually liked to work with, which is, it's a greatly written show. It's undoubtedly one of the most, successful shows even in the United States. So from that perspective, the constraints that were there, which is the backbone, the format of the show, is the USP of the show. So for me, that was not a constraint at all. It was something that I was working with, which is a great thing for us to adapt. But I think it's a good mix of everything. If you ask me whether how is the show pitched, it's pitched very real. It's pitched with a lot of research put into it. So which means it is not frivolous. It's not something which is very superficial. We have gone into depths to figure out how things should be done. And so no, in a way, if you ask me whether is it Bollywood, of course it is to the audience of Bollywood. Is it something new to the audience of Bollywood? Definitely so. Is it something that will relate to each and every person, whether it's masses or classes? Definitely so.
Oh, you're saying it across the spectrum?
Absolutely. We have tried to span it across the spectrum.
So, Raj, you're the man who's, who's actually made the big gamble. Tell me, how were you convinced that this is the show that you need to get on board? Considering it is so expensive, it's the first time where Indian audiences are going to see something like this. All those parameters and those hiccups, how did you decide to sign the show?
See, I've spent 21 years in television, and I've seen the evolution, the way things have happened. And somewhere I think people have hesitated in experimenting large format fiction shows. And it always has been crossed my mind saying, why don't we do shows like Grey's Anatomy or 24 or things like that? And there wasn't an opportunity. Now, and when I got to know that Anil is wanting to do this show in India, obviously the thing did cross our mind in terms of cost. But we felt that you have a star like Anil Kapoor, who's 4 decades, who's been a Bollywood superstar, and he's doing fiction for the first time. And then you have Abhinay, and the whole setting when we saw, we said, this is something that we must do. And we've done it. The money part of it, again, for us, when we looked at it, again, I don't think it will make profits. We are going with our eyes open into something like this. But that's season 1. But we believe there are 8 more seasons to go, and season 2, season 3, we will build it up. We will. That's when the returns will come. But from a show point of view, I've seen the first episode. I mean, and I must tell you, it is totally on international standards. I mean, this is a show India has never seen.
The casting of 24. I mean, for the first time, we'll see actors like Shabana Azmi, Anupam Kher, Rahul Khanna, etc. come together. So the cast is, very, very glamorous for a TV show. Whose decision was this? Was it yours? Was it Abhinay's? Or
it was, I think, there are a lot of other names also who came forward to be part of this show. Even if there's Shabana ji is there and Rahul is there and Anupam, because they fitted the role. First and foremost is the casting, which has been paramount. If you see the entire casting, including each and every role, is that everybody is not there because what he is or he's what or whatever.
Oh, so there was not a conscious decision because their names?
No.
Oh, okay.
It is you feel there's no other choice. When you see the show, you realize, how can you think about anybody else but Anupam to do this role? How can you think about anybody else but Shabana to do this role? How can you think that, I don't think so, this role, Rahul Khanna ke ilawa kaun kar sakta hai? It's impossible. I promise you'll feel like that.
It had nothing to do because they were names, because they were better and bigger names. I don't want to name them. I know for sure who actually called me and said, can you speak to Anil and we wouldn't mind doing a role. I'm not joking. Okay? And we've discussed this, and in some cases he's told me, please don't put them on to me because it's embarrassing for me to say no. So that's the kind of thing. You have no clue how many people have wanted to be a part of 24. Now that kind of, and that's because they watched the show, and they also know that even any role in this will also give them that kind of, it's like being part of something, and I believe that this will create history.
That's my question. How will it create history? How will this change the way television is done in India?
Fiction programming today, and correct me wherever I'm wrong, we shoot a fiction episode in 1 day.
Absolutely.
Half an hour, in 1 day. I think we've taken 11 days, 12 days to shoot one episode. Okay. If you see the quality of production, I don't know whether you've seen the promo. If you see the quality of production, if you see the star cast, and nobody has invested this kind of money in creating a fiction show of this magnitude. And I know that Sony is now announced with Mr. Bachchan. And I think, again, I feel very happy when somebody told me, I said, yeah, again, we are trendsetters because we set the trend, now others will follow. It feels good.
So, do you see this as the beginning of the trend of seasonal shows in India?
I would say that. Like when you saw non-fiction shows, KBC, until then nobody invested in it. There was SAP CD and there was everything, but nobody went. KBC was a game changer in terms of taking the investment level for a non-fiction show. I think this will be the show that will be a game changer for taking the fiction show to another level.
But is the monetization, the revenue model, good enough, equipped enough to look at shows of this scale?
I think so, because somebody has to do it. I mean, people said the same thing about KBC. People said the same thing about Bigg Boss. I mean, people can't believe that we have Salman Khan in Bigg Boss. Okay, and they say, even today there are speculative articles coming on how much we pay him, right? But the thing is, if you have a good product, people are willing to pay.
You are a great actor, but, well, you have to see the actors all over the world. Then you realize that you're nowhere close to them. यहाँ हम लोग कुछ भी बनाते हैं यार 100 crores हो गया